Hello Cules, it's Pablo here and welcome back to Barca Universal. We are now back with the content. I hope you guys had a very Merry Christmas indeed if you do celebrate it. And what better place to come back to than by dissecting a Lionel Messi interview. He spoke on LaSexta to Jordi Evole. He had an interesting interview really discussing a load of topics, very broad indeed, so there's a lot to cover in this video is what I'm going to say. We're going to be getting through what I think is the more interesting stuff, the stuff that you Barca fans will want to hear. I'll try and do it in a nice, understandable manner. Hopefully, it'll all be translated nicely into English for you guys, so I hope this video will give it all in one place to summarise the things, discuss what was spoken about. But if you guys do want to read the full interview, see everything that Messi said, from his family to his children's school, to Maradona, to all of that sort of stuff, go on the Barca Universal Twitter. The links to that are always under each and every YouTube video in the description down below. If you want to check out everything on the Messi interview, read it up there. But this video, guys, is going to give you all the interesting stuff, mainly football, mainly sporting. So let's get started. And like I said, I won't talk about everything here. Just as an example, he's talking about Christmas here and a few things with Federer and Nadal and people who he admires. I'm not going to be covering absolutely everything, but we will start here with a quote just about how he's feeling right now. He said, well, right now I'm feeling okay. It took a while before the season started. Obviously, he wasn't exactly in the best mood there, but he says, I'm eager now to fight for titles and compete for what we've got, for the rest of the season. And I think that was a theme of the interview. He was definitely saying a lot of stuff has happened in the past, a lot of stuff may happen in the future, but right now, he is solely focused on Barcelona. He says, Barcelona is my life, it's the club that gave me everything. I've lived here longer than I've lived in Barcelona. It's a love story that I've got with Barca, and they've given me absolutely everything. So that's the way this interview really started. Messi also mentioned the situation at Barcelona right now, which of course we all know very well. It's poorly being ran financially and on the sporting side as well. And I think he acknowledged that. He said we're in a difficult situation. You already know about the pay cuts that have happened. There's been a lot of sporting issues, of course, regarding how our team's looking this season, the poor sales. Of course, the coronavirus has hit Barcelona very poorly too, and I think Messi understood that for sure. And I think a really interesting point was when the interviewer actually asked Messi if he'd cried recently, and he said, I have suffered a lot on the football side of things lately, like Barcelona, but I didn't cry because of sports issues. I've cried because of other issues, but I prefer not to go into detail. So, I'd imagine that's something close to family, or perhaps the Maradona dying, things like that. Apparently, he says, I'm upset because of the sporting side of things that have happened, especially at the start of the season. I'm sure when he was, set to leave Barcelona, when he sent that burofax in, it would have been difficult moments in and around his family for sure. He speaks later about the way that his family did not want to leave Barcelona, so I'm sure those were also extremely difficult moments. And maybe just to sprinkle a laugh on your guys' day here, there was something very funny that went around, and the interviewer actually asked Messi about a cartoon character by the name of Nobita. I'll show a picture on the screen right now, and basically, Nobita has been compared to looking like President Bartomeu, of course, and I think Messi found that pretty hilarious. He spoke that, some people in the WhatsApp group, if you like, of Barcelona or in general, I'm guessing people like Gerard Piqué have compared Bartomeu to Nobita in the past. Messi said, I've never done it myself, but it is something that has happened. And moving more on to Bartomeu and sort of the burofax issue in the summer, Messi begins to talk about this, and this is probably where the interview gets really interesting. We get into some really nitty-gritty details, some bits that you guys maybe really want to hear. Messi goes and said that he wanted to formalise things to make them official, because he actually told Bartomeu in the last 6 months before that burofax was sent that he wanted to leave several times, but Bartomeu, he didn't listen to me. Messi said that he felt like a cycle was over with the club. His kids, like I said earlier, wanted to stay in Barcelona, so did his family, but Messi didn't feel like he wanted to stay at Barcelona. He said, Bartomeu didn't let me leave. He tried hurting me by leaking things about me. He tried to make me look like the bad guy in the movie, and I think we all, acknowledge that that would be something that would happen. Bartomeu would have, of course, spread a lot of negative propaganda, if you like, about Lionel Messi in this moment to make him look like he was on the losing side. And Messi goes on to talk about Bartomeu. He talks about, I'm in the Luis Suarez situation. Messi says, what they did with Luis seemed really crazy to me. The way things were done, the way he left. He left for free to a rival team. I think Messi was certainly very hurt by the Suarez situation. Suarez is someone who Messi still talks to day in, day out, he said. He said that Suarez is, of course, I think we all know his best friend. And I think he continued about Bartomeu. He said, Bartomeu lied to me about a lot of things. I don't want to talk about what he promised and didn't do, because I won't go into it. But he did. He was essentially very upset with Bartomeu, and I think that was a big theme of the interview. We can always talk about individual quotes and whatnot, but by judging by what we saw from Messi in that interview, I think he certainly has a very negative relationship with Bartomeu. He feels he never fulfills his promises, and I think us Barcelona fans, we all know full well what Bartomeu's up to, what he's like, so this wasn't really anything of a surprise, but it was nice to see Messi come out there. You know, he cracked a few smiles there with the Nobita thing and whatnot, and I think Bartomeu basically is someone that Lionel Messi clearly does not like. And another point on Messi leaving in the summer, he actually mentioned about the transitional season that Barcelona are in right now. He said that there are a lot of new players coming in and he thought it was the right time to leave, to essentially aid that in a way and kind of be like, well, if new players are coming in anyway, I will leave. So that was another interesting point that he made on him potentially leaving in the summer and also on this season, I suppose, and that kind of reiterates what sort of times we are living in. Also, just touching on this season, I think this is something that was really interesting. Also, that a lot of you fans would want to hear was kind of Messi's opinion on Ronald Koeman. And Koeman actually is someone who, maybe like Valverde, Messi has quite a high reflection on, a quite high opinion of. He does like Ronald Koeman. He said Koeman is doing a good job. It's difficult because there are a lot of young players, but little by little we're growing. And I think Koeman is someone who Messi really likes. He likes his style of coaching. He's very clear. He's got a firm character in that dressing room. And I think the relationship between Messi and Koeman has been one of the positives for Barcelona this season. On to some interesting presidential candidate, manager, transfer sort of stuff. We begin by Messi saying he hasn't actually spoken with any single presidential candidate yet, and I find that interesting. I think Laporta not long ago said that he'd had a private conversation with Messi. Messi quite, forcefully denied that in this interview, if you like. He almost reinforced the idea that he hadn't spoken personally with any candidate. I believe that almost every candidate has, or the big ones at least, I'm talking about Victor Font, even Faré there, Laporta, of course, have contacted Messi's representatives, his inner circle, if you like. They have spoken about, certain things within the club, if you like, but I don't think personally Messi has spoken to any candidate, despite Laporta claiming he had done. And then there were two really interesting questions, guys, and it was actually asked by Jordi Evole, of course. He asked, if Xavi becomes the coach, will you stay? And after he asked his question, I think that was a bit of a pause from Messi, as if to say, look, if Xavi's coach, I would be tempted. Of course, he's not going to say yes or no. He said, I don't know. Let's see what happens in June. And a similar sort of thing happened with the Neymar situation. Évole also asked, look, what about Neymar? What if Neymar arrives? Will you stay if he arrives? And Messi, again, took a big pause. He laughed. He said, of course, it's going to be difficult to bring Neymar in. It's going to be expensive. But you do get the feeling, guys, that if Xavi came, if Neymar came, Messi would 110% stay in Barcelona. That's the way I saw that. Also, another interesting character to talk about always is Griezmann. There's always that big debate over him and Messi's relationship. Messi said, look, my relationship with Griezmann is very clear now. We drink a lot of mate together. There are absolutely no problems. That's something that I think has been reiterated by Leo and Antoine in recent weeks. And just to reiterate the fact that Messi hasn't made a decision on his future here, he literally said, I can't tell you about my future because I myself don't even know about it. He said, I still want to be related to the club when I retire. He also mentioned that it's impossible for him to go to Real Madrid, to go to Atletico, on top of other things. But I think regarding whether he leaves or not in the summer, he won't be leaving in January, of course. He also said, quite interestingly, I will not be negotiating with any club from now until the end of the season. He said, look, the interviewer said, look, it's nearly the 1st of January, teams can negotiate with you. Messi profusely said, I will not be negotiating with anyone until the end of the season, then he'll make his decision. So you do hope then, over the next 6 months, if someone like Laporta comes in, if a Victor Font comes in and they speak to Messi, if we see improvement in the team, if the team is going in the right direction, I honestly think there's no reason why Messi doesn't stay at Barcelona. I think it is really 50-50 right now. I think it's either he stays at Barcelona, he gets convinced, or in the summer, he's going to be in Paris for free or Manchester City for free. That's my opinion on this. And just touching on that Manchester City and Paris Saint-Germain issue, there was actually quite a funny moment where the interviewer brought out little travel guides, if you like, of both Paris and Manchester, and he said, I was actually hoping you said give them back to me because I want you to stay in Barcelona. And Messi said, yeah, you can keep them if you like. So, that was another interesting bit. I think the interviewer was constantly trying to get Messi out of his shell, but we know that Leo is someone who's quite introverted. He did mention that earlier on in the interview. He said, Thiago, my son, is quite like me, also quite introverted, quite shy. And I think when some questions were asked there, Messi certainly got a little bit nervous, maybe a little bit red in the face, and didn't really know what to answer. And just to finish off here with one final quote here, Messi actually said that hopefully the new president who comes in can get us back to winning ways and can help us lift titles. And that probably, guys, is where this video comes to an end. Please let me know down below all your thoughts on this. Like I said, get on the Twitter, get on YouTube, get on anything. If you want to see the full interview somewhere, like I said, Barca Universal on Twitter, always in the description of my videos. They will have all of the thread. This is where I'm getting all of my quotes for this video, bringing you guys to the channel. And I think it was an interesting interview all round. I think we all knew there wasn't going to be anything decisive from Messi. I'm still in the mindset that I think it's quite 50-50 where Messi is right now. I think it really is in the balance. I really do. And it does depend on the next 6 months massively. How Barcelona perform on the pitch, what happens off the pitch, what he thinks about the clubs that he's going to, such as PSG, Manchester City, regarding managers, how they're doing in their domestic leagues and in the Champions League. So I think there is so much that will happen in the next 6 months that determines whether Messi stays or goes. I really do. But I hope I've brought you all of the most interesting, the most juicy quotes, if you like, from that. It was quite an interesting interview. It gave a good insight into the life of Lionel Messi. There were also some more personal issues, which Jordi Evole touched on with Messi regarding his wife, his kids, like I said, Maradona, schools, all of that sort of stuff, So it was a really interesting interview. It was really well done, in my opinion. There was certainly a lot to bring out of it. And I hope for you, Cules, I brought out all of the most interesting parts, basically. Talking about president, signings, how he's feeling right now, what he feels about Koeman, whether he's going to leave in the summer, what's his opinion on the club right now, all of that sort of stuff. President Bartomeu, there was a lot of stuff on Bartomeu in this also. So, look, lots of stuff there. I hope you guys got it all. And that's where I'm going to end the video. There will be plenty more uploads on the channel in the coming weeks. There's loads of Barca games coming up, loads of news also. The presidential elections are also coming up. We will have a new president by this time next month, actually. So there you go. Lots to look forward to. That's where I'm going to end it. Drop a like, share it around, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this Messi interview. Until then, goodbye.